Hey, welcome to the Exposeco podcast. We're here to empower homeowners to take control of their projects and save money while doing it. I am your host, Brian, here with my co-host, Paul. Paul, how is it going?
It's going.
All right, it's going. Hey, tonight we have a very interesting topic. We're going to talk about something that I feel like is under talked about in the purchasing process of anything that a contractor is selling from home services. That's negotiating. So let's talk about negotiating. What can we do? What are its limitations, and how do we get the most from that?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot to pick apart in this topic, and the industry has so many wide ranges of projects and pricing, and somebody that's done a significant amount of research on getting heating and air conditioning installed in their home. If they've had a wide array of contractors in their home, they probably have experienced a wide array of pricing. So, and people always ask like I don't understand why these guys are so expensive, or I don't understand why this guy is so cheap. There's a lot of really good questions in that, right? But really it comes down to is like really what can and what can't be negotiated, and how much can be negotiated. And really that's a great question. It's a loaded question, right? Because you can negotiate somebody too much to where they really are kind of not wanting to do your project because they're not really making any money. And I'm totally against that. I think that you want that contractor to still feel like they are able to do the job and make a little bit of money at the end of the day. You don't want to feel like, hey, you ripped their shirt off their back and you still made them work. You want them to be invested in your project so they feel good about doing a good job for you. And you can be a super strong negotiator and take advantage of a contractor. I think there's a lot of people out there that have those skills. But at the end of the day, do you really want to take advantage of somebody, whether it be a small business or whoever you're deciding to have do your project? I would say no. You want to make sure that it's a fair deal for them, but it's also a fair deal for you. What we do when we negotiate, what we do is we make sure that you're getting a super fair deal every time. And the majority of times, contractors are not necessarily giving you a fair deal. There's definitely fluff in jobs. And we, having the expertise that we have, understanding the industry, understanding pricing of everything, labor, what it takes to do jobs, and just having a good idea. It's like having somebody that buys cars at a dealership to resell them, doing your negotiating at a dealership for you. They know all the numbers. I know all the numbers. So we have an expertise that really no consumer is going to have. We can go in and we can have a conversation and be able to present to that contractor, hey, we know this is what it costs to do the job. We feel like, this is being overcharged and we can help you. We would like to use you, but we want to make sure that you're fair to our client. And by negotiating that way, they feel that at least we're being fair about it and we're not going in and we're not chopping their knees from underneath them. And I think that strategy is something that should be really valued for the homeowner, because look, we're not getting the project to where they feel like they've gotten taken advantage of, and we're also not getting the project where you've gotten taken advantage of. So the key is everybody's happy at the end of the day. And the reason why we want that is because we want them to do a good job at the end of the day. We want them to feel good about if they step through your ceiling or something during the installation, that they have no problem about taking care of that. And they don't feel like, hey, look, I'm losing even more money on this project. So there's a lot to negotiating, and it takes a lot of skill to get to the point where you can really be fair and balanced in your negotiation and still at the majority of times save the consumer a lot of money.
Yeah, I loved your approach when you're talking about this. So many people would think, well, negotiating is just about getting the very best deal for you, like lining your pockets or keeping as much money of it as you can. But you think of it more holistically, so that you're thinking of, how is the contractor going to feel working in your house if they're not making any money? We still want them to make some money. That's why they're in business. So we want this actually ultimate win-win scenario, actually. So it's a win for the negotiator, which would be us. It's a win for the consumer because they're getting a fair price for the services and the goods they're purchasing. And then also a win for the contractor. They feel good about the project that they're going to be working on, they're covered at every level. I feel like that's such a rarity. We're not trying to put anyone out of business. What we're really trying to do is level that playing field and make sure that people can have that advocate, that mediator. You have mediators in lots of different industries, like in real estate and other ones. But here we have like a mediator specifically in an area where we can help consumers be protected and make sure they're getting a really good deal. I just think that's so valuable. And the way that the perspective you have, I think is very unique and very healthy on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, believe me, it comes from experience. I mean, it comes from being negotiated down to where you're like, why am I even doing this project? This project, I'm going to lose money on it. And you're like hemming and hawing the whole way through the project. But your integrity, you want to keep your integrity. You want to still do a good job. But not every contractor is that way. It's hard to feel like you want to do a good job when you feel like somebody is like literally making you pay to do their project. There's nothing more disheartening when you're working hard for somebody and you're paying to work hard. I think there's a lot of importance there to have a balance, right? The reason why we offer doing negotiating is because I don't feel like it's balanced. I feel like the contractors are usually, there's a lot of extra that can be in those proposals. And if we come across a set of proposals and somebody pays us and they say, hey, we want you to negotiate this, and we see that there's really no meat left on that bone, we will kindly just say, we think you're getting a good enough price here, and we don't suggest negotiating this anymore because we don't think that there's anything left to negotiate other than they would be not making any money on your project. And we don't feel like you're going to have the best experience after Exposeco experience with that contractor. We aim to make sure that your project's going to go smooth, finish on time, and have a good experience with your contractor based on our expertise of helping you choose the right person. So if you're the consumer out there that says, hey, I just want the cheapest price, and I'm going to pay you to negotiate it, and we want it even lower than what we've already gotten it for, and the guy's already losing money, we wouldn't be the right fit for you, because you know what? At the end of the day, you're going to be unhappy because you're not going to get a product reflecting a company that's in business making money.
I think this is a new area for people, and I wonder if our listener is going to be considering, like, this feels like they're speaking French to me. I have no idea what they're talking about, because I understand that you can negotiate like at the swap meet, or you can negotiate at a garage sale. You negotiate the real estate purchase price, but they're talking about negotiating home services like my roof that's going in, my heating and air conditioning system, the solar panels that I might have installed. Are you telling us that is an area in which people can and do get their prices negotiated?
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of times, especially even small business, they're not necessarily like precise on their pricing. They're coming up with, when people say we have flat rate pricing, well, that flat rate pricing is basically a made up number for, situational jobs that require the worst case scenario amount of labor. So it means a lot more labor than maybe your job takes. And when they have flat rate, you're just paying the highest fee that they would ever have to charge to still make money on that type of project. And then there's all the way down to the guy that's at check out of his truck, and he looks at, he's looking at the job and just says, yeah, I think we can do it for this amount, a few thousand, 4,500, 5,000. He's basically just shooting from the hip, and it's based off his experience of other jobs he's done for that price. But, is he really sitting down and actually crunching in his actual fixed labor cost, what he's paying in taxes, what he's paying for equipment, what he's paying for everything else? A lot of these guys aren't doing that, or some of the guys aren't doing that. But the larger companies, they have the flat rate. So you're paying for the most expensive job, it being done the most expensive way. So what I'm getting at is neither are very accurate, and that means there's room for negotiation. And if the small time guy is just throwing it from the hip, I mean, he's probably adding in a few $1,000s just for added fluff on there because he wants to make extra money. And the large corporation has their fluff built into every single price, and that's what they're gonna try to charge. But those big companies, they negotiate too. They all negotiate. There isn't one company that doesn't negotiate. And I've seen a lot of these things pop up online. Get a quote in 30 seconds. Just submit your name and this and that, and we'll give you a upfront honest pricing. You don't even know exactly what the jobs and totally entails. I mean, they can take some information down and get an idea of what you need, but it's not exact. And so what that means is they have a lot of fluff in there or extra to make up for any variables that could happen in your project. So it can be not precise by any means. And with our expertise, we're able to look at the project and understand at a more precision way what that project should cost at a fair market value, not overinflated, and be able to make sure that they adjust it to where it should be. It's really, really important to have those trained set of eyes taking a look at that stuff, because you never know what you're getting. I mean, and the thing is you can go fill out 4 or 5 of those online quotes. And those 4 or 5 companies could be like massive companies that all are charging 3 to 4 times what a small mom and pop shop are charging. So that's why we're here. We're here to, have those trained eyes of get the red flags and say, stop. Let's go back to the drawing board and we think you can get a better solution for your project.
Yeah, that's one of the things. The upfront pricing, they don't want you to think that you can negotiate that. I think that that's part of the tactic. Like the no BS pricing, the no margin pricing. Like there's a local car dealership in my city that has the no BS price, and so it's like just up front. It's supposedly so that you don't haggle with them, but you want to be able to have a conversation about the value of the service and the value of the product you're receiving. But as you noted, there's a pretty big learning curve for being able to have that conversation in a meaningful way. If I just went up there having known nothing, call my contractor who's making me an offer for, let's say, a product for a new heater or air conditioner, I'm not going to know what to really say. I might say, hey, can you kind of discount this a little bit? Can we save some money? Oh yeah, sure. Maybe he'll say, I'll knock 100 off. How is that different than like what you're going to do? Like if they hire Exposeco, like have a professional negotiator, what's the potential, I guess, is what I'm getting at, because I don't know what I would be asking for, but you would know what you would be asking for. And how would you know? And how much could that number actually be?
I've seen projects get negotiated by 50%, and that's like not like a huge rare situation. It's I've seen it quite a bit where companies come in so high, like they'll come in and they're going to charge $20,000 for this air conditioning system, and then at the end of the day, I've seen those customers get that same air conditioning system installed for $10,000. That's $10,000. And people go, man, that's highway robbery that they're trying to charge you 20 in the first place. That's exactly why we exist. I've seen that habitually with contractors, where they come in with a blazing high price and to see if the customer is gonna just go with it, and they don't say a word. And the sad thing is yes, there's customers out there that just go with it. They don't think twice. They just trust them and they just do it, and they're ending up spending an extra $10,000 on the air conditioning system. So that project is $10,000, and we bring that knowledge of just knowing and being able to have the expertise of being in the industry and understanding the nuances to the different projects. Yeah, no, it can be significant, and like we said earlier, if there's no meat left on that bone, we're going to tell you. We're going to say, hey, you're already getting a great deal, and then you don't get charged anything from us, because we don't believe if we're not going to be able to give you any value for our service, we don't believe in charging you for it. If we can't negotiate anything off, you don't get charged. It's easy as that. So it's a win-win. I mean, there's no way you can lose, because look, if you don't get money taken off your project, then you don't pay us a dime. And when we do take money off your project, we only take half of what we get taken off your project, up to $1,600. So if you get $1,600 taken off your project, we're only getting paid $800.
That's pretty incredible when you consider the reality that somebody could say $5,000, and the maximum that we would ever make for negotiating that is $799, is $800. So and then there's no risk on top of it. So somebody could already get the very best price that they could imagine. Let's say they get 3 bids, they get really nice price on that, and then they can, on top of that, they can go and ask us to negotiate that price, and they can get an even better price potentially. And if we don't get them a better price, 100% of the money that they put in to hire us to negotiate it is all refunded.
Yeah.
It's almost hard to believe.
Yeah, no, it's honestly like shocking that anybody wouldn't do that service, because there's no reason why you shouldn't do that. And also, we're giving you the peace of mind that you're getting a good deal if we don't get any money off of it. We're
Yeah.
really like, letting you know, yeah, there's nothing left on this thing. Like, you've really done a good
Oh
job at
yeah.
getting
Peace of mind.
so it's like having a peace of mind that, okay, now I feel good that I know I'm not getting like totally screwed over on my price. I mean, that's a whole nother aspect of purchasing that from us, is knowing that we're going to look it over to see if it's a viable, something that we can viably negotiate.
Yeah, that peace of mind thing is highly valuable. It's more valuable than, I think, in some cases, the money, when you don't have to worry, am I getting a fair deal or am I getting even the right equipment? It's worth it in and of itself. But to add to that, it's insane that you could have something negotiated by a trained professional and save money. And I kind of think that, like your example earlier of the $20,000, like the bid for $20,000, or the estimate for $20,000, and then we go and negotiate, it's 10,000 less. That person likely just got one proposal, right? That's what the company is kind of hoping and praying, that they're the first company out. They're going to hard sell them, tell them even some things, they're going to use their sales tactics to kind of get that signed that day without any negotiation, no extra eyes on it. And if they can do that, they're going to profit heavily on that sale, on that install. So what we're trying to do is, okay, fine. If you only want one quote, I think that's foolish, but at least we'll negotiate that. You don't even have to buy another package from us. Let us at least look at the price of that one and say, okay, like, let's see what we can save you on this one if you don't want to buy, let's say, one of our other packages, that we take a look at your proposals and make you get more than one. And that's fine too, I guess. But the reality is that if you choose to do that as a consumer, what's your time value? Like, you're potentially paying up to $5,000 to $10,000 more for not wanting to do that one thing that costs you maybe an hour of time, to have someone else come and bid it again with another company. I think that $10,000 an hour is worth it. The potential cost savings is so good. It would
Definitely,
be.
to most people, if it's not worth it to you, you should just hire us, and we'll come out and get all the proposals for you for less than that. So, you know, we have those customized packages that we can be very personalized. So if $10,000 an hour and you're making more than that, give us a call. We'll take care of the whole project for you and get it figured out. But it just goes to show, right, that a simple phone call to us, just jumping online and purchasing that package, is it's an easy way to ensure that you're getting a great deal, and then also potentially saving thousands and thousands of dollars. And going to people may have gotten 3 bids, and they're, all 3 of them are close to that $20,000 range, but they can still get it done for $10,000. That's what people don't realize, that, if you get the 3 bad companies, or 3 companies that are overcharging, which I'm telling you, all markets have them. They have these companies that overcharge. I mean, look, the market that I was in, there was a couple guys that were always, for the same projects, several $1,000s more than I was. And you go, what do you need that money for? I mean, like, why are you charging that? And would they still get jobs and do them for cheaper than me? Yes, they would. So it's just, it's crazy. But another thing is you got to be trained. You got to know what to look for. These projects can be confusing if you don't know what's going on. Part of the reason why we started this is because I was buying solar for my house, and I remember getting 3 bids, and I just was so confused about the whole process of what I was buying, because these 3 sales guys confused me so bad. And I'm basically in an industry that's very closely knit with solar, and I still was lost. And so at that point I was like, man, this industry needs somebody to protect the consumer, because you know what, these guys, they can just be a shark, and they can close you, and you would feel like you're getting a good deal, and at the end of the day, you're done with the project, and you're stuck with the solar panels on your roof, or you're stuck with the air conditioner on the side of your house, and you can later find out that you overpaid for that. So I don't want people to feel that way, because that's a bad feeling.
You needed the Exposeco solar wing, like,
Yeah.
in that moment.
Yes.
Every time I've ever been taken advantage of, every time I've ever even heard of family or friends that have had bad experiences with contractors, if they had Exposeco in their corner, none of that pain would have happened. That's a remarkable thing to say, and it's actually a really cool thing. We're breaking into an industry in a new way. So I hope that this conversation has been helpful to our listeners. It's been on negotiating, and I hope that you're ready to hire Exposeco's professional negotiators to get to work on your proposals, saving you money. Paul, any last words tonight?
Oh, I would say just don't trust that the number that they give you is the final number. Let us check it out. We'll get you the final number.
There we go. All right. Thanks, Paul. Thanks to our listeners for tuning in. We'll see you next week with another episode.